The ninth floor is the Office of Employee Engagement, managed and directed by a person named Mary Ernesti. The Office of Employee Engagement is an evil cabal of misanthropes, bungling incompetents, and corrupt city officials who work to terminate teachers and block the efforts of any fired teacher who seeks to reinstate themselves after being wrongfully terminated. They're supported by the Chicago Public Schools Office of the Inspector General, who work overtime to make sure no fired teacher is ever reinstated. The year is 2012. Chicago Police Officer Sergeant Ronald Watts was a pathological, criminal-minded, remorseless human being who used his position to shake down drug dealers in Chicago. When people didn't go along with his criminal activity, he planted drugs on them, arrested them, and they were sent to prison. In 2012, the same year Watts was charged, Chicago Public Schools Chief Executive Officer Dr. Barbara Bird Bennett was busy stealing $22 million from Chicago Public Schools through a kickback scheme. She served 4 years for her crimes. While these two ranking public servants were committing their crimes in 2012, a group of low-level CPS workers, mothers, and an investigator concocted a scheme that centered around falsely accusing me, in my capacity as a CPS substitute teacher, of a sex crime against a minor, so that the mother could file a lawsuit against the city, collect money for the damage allegedly done by me against her daughter. Then the conspirators would split the money between themselves. There are numerous people involved in this plot. I cover the basics in episodes 1 and 2, both of which are on YouTube. These episodes were sent to numerous city and state elected officials and all the TV networks, as well as newspapers and radio stations. Tonight's episode will focus on the author of the document that destroyed my lifelong adult life, 33-year teaching career, the investigator. Okay, so I'd like to start with a little review. These 3 pages destroyed my teaching career and my life. Since 1979, I became a teacher and have done nothing, pursued no other career other than that. And then the conspirators came up with these 3 pages and destroyed my life. Now, there's actually a rank and file of these conspirators. Okay, here is the flow chart of the main conspirators. Tonight we're going to focus on the author, the person who actually wrote this steaming pile of male bovine fecal matter. Okay? There's the senior office. Her name, Officer. She's an investigator for a group called Fact Finders Group Incorporated. Chicago Public Schools did not conduct their own investigation. They hired an independent agency. This one was called Fact Finders Group Incorporated, located in Matheson, Illinois. And the author of this steaming pile of crap is named Norellis Olivaria. But I found something now interesting. Recently, she's got a new job. Now, she's an investigator for the Cook County Sheriff. So, are you hearing this, Miss Lori Lightfoot, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and Sheriff Tom Dart? This investigator, Norellis, submitted this 100% false report to DCFS, knowing it was false and possibly sending me to prison. Now, the allegation against me is the following: that Mr. Gleason, a day-to-day substitute teacher, watched student L as her pants were down and she used the bathroom. That's what I'm accused of doing. Okay? This is what really happened on that day. Went to work in the Von Humboldt Family Center preschool. It's a preschool. I'd been there one other day, and I'd also been in there 7th grade previously. So, and I actually told him I liked this job. I said, hey, call me back. So this is the way the classroom is laid out. First snowy day of the year. All right, it is dismissal time. The children, this is me. This is me. This here is the assistant teacher, Doris Jimenez. She lied, okay? Each one of these dots represents the children. It is time for the children to go home. Here's the hallway. Here's the office. You can stand here and see the office, and the parents are here in the front area waiting to pick up their children. I'm in the front of the line. I lead the class down the hall with Doris, the assistant teacher, in the back. I make a right turn. She makes a left turn. The children line up right up along here, and each parent picks up their child. They go over to Doris, assistant teacher. They sign their child out, and they take them home. This is the toilet in question. Now, according to this parent, she said that she walked into the classroom to find L inside the single-stall bathroom with her pants down and Mr. Gleason standing at the doorway of the bathroom, peeking through the hinge of the door and the frame. So here's the door, and I'm peeking through it. Now you can see this parent coming down the hallway. If she was actually coming down the hallway, and I'm facing this way, I could have seen it. It's a lie. It's a lie. But we're going to get, today's focus is on Norellis Olivaria, the author. So we know they're lying. So what actually happened is she picked her up and went home. And then they came with this utter nonsense. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this program is dissect the writing of Norellis Olivaria. Okay, so as I said, here's a blow-up of this. And the author, whose name is right here, Norellis Olivaria. Took me about 10 years to pay attention to this, to see these letters, FFGI. So out of curiosity, I said, I wonder what FFGI stands for. And when I Googled it, it took me to a detective agency, Fact Finders Group Incorporated, located in Matteson, Illinois. So CPS did not conduct their own investigation. They don't have their own investigators. They had no direct oversight. But as of the last time I checked her LinkedIn page, she is now an investigator for the Cook County Sheriff's Department. Now, my understanding is when an investigation like this takes place, it is the expectation that the investigator is objective and factual. Objective and factual. You do not put your opinion. You do not embellish. You do not elaborate. You take the witness's statements as they made it, and you leave it as such, and you record it as such. You don't correct their grammar. You don't correct their spelling. So if they use a double negative, then that's that. They use a double negative, and that's the way you report it, what comes out of their mouths. If they split an infinitive, that's the way you report it. They use a double negative, that's the way you report it. If their subjects and their verbs don't agree, you don't correct that English. If they say, I ain't got no, I didn't do none, I didn't get none, then that is the way you write it. You don't correct anything, you don't add anything. But as it turns out, this entire report is the writings of Norellis Olivaria. Page 1, paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On January 20th, 2012, the assistant principal notified DCFS. On Tuesday, January 31st, at approximately 10 a.m., she visited Von Humboldt School. At approximately 1:15, she interviewed the mother. At approximately 5 o'clock, she interviewed Mr. Gleason. That's what it says here. You lied. You interviewed me. It says, according to this, you interviewed me on January 31st. That's a lie. I wasn't pulled out of class until a week later. You interviewed me February 8th. And here's the document to prove it, because I kept notes of when you called and what was said. And in this date book, I maintain a record of the times that events took place. You interviewed me on February 8th. You did not interview me on January 31st. Bungling incompetent. You can't even keep your date straight. You asked me, Mr. Gleason, when the children were in the classroom and they used the toilet, how close were you standing to the door? I said, I don't know. One, I wasn't watching the door of the toilet. I was teaching. Children do not ask for permission to use the bathroom. They simply go. They come and go at will. It's part of their learning. Take care of their own needs appropriately. So I don't know where I was when any particular child used the bathroom, but if I was at the circle, 14 feet. If I was at the trucks, 10 feet. If I was in the magnets, it could have been 16 feet. Now, this is very important. How do you catch a spy? You're engaged in warfare, and every time you try to make a move, the enemy's waiting for you. That means somewhere in your organization or somewhere in your army is a spy who's giving information to the enemy. How do you catch that spy? You probably already know the answer. They do it on detective shows all the time. You give that spy, your suspect, one specific piece of information. And if that information comes up again, you have your spy. Now, this is what I told Norellis Olivaria. I don't know how close I was to the door when children use the bathroom. However, there were several times throughout the day when children knocked down the privacy curtain. The privacy curtain hangs in the doorway. Here's a mock-up of the way the toilet is set up. Here's the hallway. You can stand right here and see down the hallway. Now, according to this mother, I'm standing right here looking through the hinge of the door, watching the child on the toilet. So physically, that doesn't make any sense. Mother stated that she walked into the classroom to find Elle inside the single-stall bathroom with her pants down and Mr. Gleason standing at the doorway of the bathroom, peeking through the hinge of the door and the frame. Mom says pants are down. So, we're going to do it just like they do in the psychiatrist's office, okay? She said she walked in there and the child's pants were down. Down go the pants. Now, we're going to drop down to paragraph 6. This is the child's testimony. On the date of the incident, she was praying for dismissal. She needed to use the bathroom. Stated while using the bathroom, the curtain which hangs for privacy fell over and Mr. Gleason walked over, picked it up, and stood in the bathroom watching her as she sat with her pants down, and then she stood up to pull her pants up. So, according to the daughter, up go the pants. That's the daughter's testimony. The daughter said she pulled up her pants. Mother says she walks in here. First of all, how can you see past this wall and tell if the daughter's pants are up or down? That's interesting. Here's the daughter in here. She walks in and she sees Mr. Gleason looking through the stall. So does she walk around me and then come around here? And where did Mr. Gleason go? Mother said the child's pants were down. But you just heard me read. 2 paragraphs later, the child says, I pulled my pants up. So which one is it? Was the child's pants up or down? Or did the child pull her pants up, and then I went to look at it over here, and then she went back over and pulled her pants down again? Norellis Olivaria, you could not write your way out of a middle school essay assignment. Your writing sucks. And you graduated from DePaul University? My goodness, DePaul. That's the best you can do, Norellis Olivaria? Does the word continuity mean anything to you, Norellis Olivaria, investigator, now Cook County Sheriff Deputy? Did the mother actually make these statements? Did the child actually make these statements? I challenge. Here's another problem with this. This entire document is written in third person. Remember that? That's 5th grade. I, you, he, she, it. I, first person. You, second person. Third, she, he, she, it. Third person. This is written in third person. Why is it written in third person? Throughout the document, we hear the following statement. Ms. King stated, Mr. Gleason stated, Mr. Gleason stated, Mr. Gleason stated, Mr. Gleason stated, Ms. Feliciano stated. Mr. Gleason stated he could not recall how close he was standing near the bathroom door as L used the bathroom. What was the question? You're saying Mr. Gleason stated that he could not recall how close he was standing near the bathroom as L used the bathroom. What was the question? Because if the question is, how close were you standing as L used the bathroom, the answer is, who's L? Norellis Olivaria did not ask me one single question about dismissal time. She said nothing to me about staying behind with a child to use the bathroom. But throughout this entire document, and I counted them, 16 times she uses the statement, person stated. Mr. Gleason stated that the curtain in the bathroom had fallen multiple times throughout the day. Mr. Gleason stated he never peeked inside the bathroom. Mr. Gleason stated on Friday, Ms. Feliciano stated that on January 21st she arrived. Ms. Feliciano stated upon entering the school. What is the questions, Norellis? Hello? Why aren't you including the questions? FFGI investigator, now Cook County Sheriff investigator. Let me explain to you how you make an objective report. When asked, then you state the question. Notice that there's quotation marks. So we know that you asked that question. When asked, state the question. Mr. Gleason stated, and you write every word we say, word for word. A little while ago I asked you, how do you catch a spy? You give them one piece of information that you do not give to anybody else. I volunteered that information when you asked me how close was I standing to the doors. Children, plural, used the bathroom. I told you I don't know, so that's a half-truth. And then I explained that there were times when children knocked down the curtain and I helped them pick it up. Then you, Norellis, took the information that I gave you about the curtain falling and you put it in the mouth of that 4-year-old child. You are busted, Norellis Olivarian. I volunteered that information about curtains falling. And then you take it and said, okay, okay. And you kept repeating it throughout this. I never told anybody else anything about a falling curtain. The child was not in that room. That child did not stay behind to use the bathroom. I did not stay behind to escort her to the bathroom, and no parent came in there. Yet, how did the child know to say the curtain fall down? It was you, Norellis. Sheriff Tom Dart, you have a copy of this show. You have a copy of this program. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, you have a copy of this program. I was selected. I was lynched. These people cannot write. So, Norellis, in addition to having writing skills slightly below a 5th grader and being you don't know when to stop embellishing. This one really stands out and shows and proves this child did not make these statements. It says here, L stated that while using the bathroom, the curtain, which hangs for privacy, fell over. L stated, that means this is what the child is saying. This is a 4-year-old child. L stated, while using the bathroom, the curtain, comma, which hangs for privacy, comma, fell over. This, for those of you who did pass language arts, is what's known as the dependent clause, which hangs for privacy. It's called a dependent clause because it cannot stand by itself. It does not have a complete subject. It does not have a complete predicate. It is dependent on what becomes either and or before or after it. 4-year-olds don't talk this way. This is not the way a 4-year-old talks. A 4-year-old does not start a statement that says, while using the bathroom, the curtain, which hangs for privacy, fell over. 4-year-olds don't insert dependent clauses like this in the middle of their sentences. You inserted that. How did this 4-year-old, she actually used the phrase, which hangs for privacy? Which hangs for privacy? No, this 4-year-old did not say that. You said that, Norellis Olivarian. This is the sound of a grown-up. While using the bathroom, the curtain fell over. While using the bathroom, the curtain fell over. That is how a 4-year-old talks, Norellis. A 4-year-old does not insert a dependent clause. What happened? Well, I was using the bathroom and the curtain, which hangs for privacy, fell over. I counted 16 times. The author of this investigator, says somebody stated, L stated that while using the bathroom, the curtain fell. L stated that while using the bathroom, the curtain, which hangs for privacy, fell over. committed some serious crimes. I'm talking to all three of you. Norellis, Diana, and Doris. Obstruction of justice. A person obstructs justice when, with intent to prevent the apprehension, obstruction, the prosecution, or defense of any person, he or she knowingly commits any of the following acts: destroys, alters, conceals, or disguises physical evidence, plants false evidence, or furnishes false information. That's obstruction of justice. False DCFS report. Under Illinois law, any person who knowingly makes a false report to DCFS commits the offense of disorderly conduct. Mayor Lightfoot, these people, along with members of the Office of the Inspector General and other members of the Office of Employee Engagement, attempted to send me to prison. Now, at the time this happened, there was another lawyer working on my bankruptcy. So at this point, I don't think it's necessary to discuss filing a lawsuit. Rather, I think you should focus on responding to the allegations filed with DCFS. Do you have any documentation? Now, listen very carefully. If the allegations around are founded, you will receive notice that you have been indicated, and it is likely that a warrant for your arrest will be issued soon after. These people tried to send me to prison. This is not a joke. Do I look like I could survive prison? A skinny, gay guy like me, accused of molesting a child? What do you think my chances of surviving prison are? But these people say, yeah, we're going to send this guy, this Negro, to prison. And it doesn't have to make sense. Certainly doesn't have to be true. All we need is a non-black woman to point the finger and say, that black man did, and it doesn't matter what follows. He's guilty. But Mayor Lightfoot, I encourage you, go down the street to 42 West Madison, take the elevator up to the 9th floor, and ask them to explain to you how this gay black man, without a blemish on his record, they found guilty and terminated him. So, how many more of these episodes do I need to do?